Hey, True Believers, England team here. George Perez is one of my favorite artists of all time. And when I say one of, I think I'm leaving myself an out. In all honesty, George Perez is my favorite artist for comic books of all time. And the comic book hobby, straight across the board, got hit with news today. We're going to go over George's announcement that he does have cancer. And he has said that he has a 6 months to live. Now, whether it's up to 6 months or 6 months on, this date, boom, we'll find out. Hopefully more so. I'm going to read his announcement off and everything. But also one thing I want to talk about is now is not the time to eulogize the man. Because that's actually bothered me. I'm seeing a lot of eulogy coming. A lot of people are talking about George Perez in the past tense, and maybe it's just my inability to deal with it. Maybe it's me being in denial, but I'm not talking about George Perez in past tense. I refuse to. On the day he dies, we will have our eulogy. We will have our wake for George Perez. Up until then, I would like to use this channel to show people why he's so good and talk. So from I'm going to wait until after Christmas. We're going to be doing Christmas books and such like that. And then after Christmas, we're going to dedicate the channel to George Perez. We're going to talk about the history. We're going to talk about certain runs. We're going on our readings. We'll do George Perez books. I'm sure it's going to hurt the heck out of Eric Breen to have to go over some of the George Perez Avengers work and so forth and so on. There's so much goodness out there that I want to show and to explain why he's so good, that by the time it gets to the ending, the people who watch this channel who may not be as familiar with George Perez as myself or somebody as old as me, I think I want you to just go, holy crap, this guy is freaking amazing. And just to give an idea, look behind me. This is a poster drawn by George Perez. This ain't even all of it, by the way. One of the things he was really awesome at was drawing these very detailed, almost crowded covers, but the details in every character. Like you'll see nowadays, you'll see a crowd scene and it'll look like they lost faces. Like somebody has no mouth, or somebody's missing a nose. The eyes are just two dots. Look at a George Perez cover where he's drawing huge crowds and the detail is not lost. To answer Nerdette, I've seen a lot of the comic book news sites and such eulogizing him, and I'm seeing a lot of was. George Perez was a great artist. Granted, he retired, so maybe that's okay. But you know what? Once again, I'm not ready to say the words was, and I'm not and use past tense when talking about George Perez, just not. And I take full I take full responsibility on this. I understand. Once again, it may be just me being in denial and such. To explain where I'm coming from on this, I started reading comic books with some Golden Age hardcovers I found at the library, and I continued by reading an occasional superhero comic, but most of it was Harvey. But what really drew me in after I discovered the superhero genre, after I really started picking stuff up, was the New Teen Titans. Some people gravitated towards the X-Men. The X-Men were huge by the time Starfire and Raven and Cyborg joined the Titans to become the New Teen Titans, written and drawn by George Perez, Marv Wolfman. That book, I was hooked. That was my drug, Mm-hmm. The 7-Eleven down the street, Duga's bookstore around the corner, those were my dealers, and that was my drug. And I just thought it was freaking amazing. By the time that Crisis rolled around, I didn't know so much about the DC universe out of a few, except for a few things that I had read, Justice League and so forth and so on, Teen Titans. But still, they brought this world as they were destroying worlds. They were introducing me to them, and I just couldn't get enough. I couldn't get enough of the art, the words. I'm telling you, these books are amazing to look at. The detail involved in them. And so to me, he is a bit of a hero of mine. Without him, this might not exist. I'm not saying it wouldn't, but this might not exist. What I do might not exist. And MK says, hey, everyone. Yeah, I saw someone say RIP George Perez. He's still alive. So once again, the future of this channel is going to be trying to introduce people to George Perez comics. So if you can, please, when you see a video like that, share it out. Get to as many people as possible. Yes, of course, that'll help me. Look, I'm not saying anything that, oh my gosh, no, I don't want that to happen. Of course I do. But for the most part, I want people to understand. I want people to understand who this man was. Oh, by the way, I just looked down and I realized I've been using this mouse pad, by the way, for a few years now.
It's got holes in it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because of my green screen, the Earth's there. But this is the image from the Justice League Avengers crossover. This mouse pad has definitely seen better days, but it's going nowhere. It's going freaking nowhere. Love the man's art. And I don't know if I should tell this story now or wait until the eulogy. I'll tell it both times. You know, I repeat my stories sometime. But I did get a chance to meet George Perez. He lived down here, and he would stop by a couple of comic shops I go to. One, he flat out just emptied his entire collection of Superman's girlfriend Lois Lane and Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen on a coliseum of comics in Sanford. But he came in. This is when Infinite Crisis was going on, and I was in a comic shop called Acme Comics. They had a little counter where people could look over their comics, sit down, and I'm just sitting there, and a guy sits next to me, and I'm going through my books, and I look, and there's George freaking Perez. Think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Start talking to him, and we're just chatting it up, you know, just normal. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to be like, Chris Farley. You remember that time, you know, you drew the Teen Titans and Robin was fighting the big spider. That was awesome. You know, I kind of wanted to be that way, but I did start asking him questions. At the time, DC had no idea what to do with Donna Troy, still doesn't. And they were kind of changing her character. So I asked him, I said, you know, how do you feel? You work on these characters. You create these characters. Donna Troy really didn't have a big personality. You put a personality into her. And then DC takes them, and it's like they go off in this bizarre direction. And he said, you know, he told me then that he's learned after so many years in the business, you do your job, you move on. By the way, I repeated that once in a video and somebody got mad at me. This is George Perez saying this. You know, they care about the characters while they are working on them. They, of course, always care about the characters, but they understand the story's going to change. So it's easier for them to move on from certain things than it is for us.
Yep.
Sometimes, because, of course, we're more emotionally attached. They learn to emotionally detach so they can move on and not care what happened. Otherwise, it drives them nuts. And so we sat there and we talked. I kept asking him questions. And while we're doing this, a crowd of people are kind of formed behind us. Not a mob. It's a comic shop. It was only like, you know, 8 people. And I realized I'm interviewing George Perez in front of these people. It was an excellent situation.
Yep. Yep.
One of the best parts, though, is he actually looked, because I had Infinite Crisis, and he goes, "You want me to autograph that for you?" Why, yes, sir. Yes, I do. Here you go. Alrighty, but
So I dropped a link. Going back good ones. I dropped a link to his official page,
mhm.
and that's if you want to talk, leave your comments, well wishes, and all that stuff to George Perez. It's official Facebook page. There's even a post on there from 9 hours ago, and it says respect his privacy, but you can leave all your information, your stuff, your get well wishes and all that stuff, comments on that Facebook post. So if you don't have a Facebook post, Facebook, just create one randomly. It takes like 5 minutes, and just leave your your wishes, and stuff, your stuff. You don't have to stay on Facebook after this, obviously, if you don't want to.
Yeah, but
it's something. It's
dead yet. When
the guy sees this stuff, he's 67 years old. He sees this stuff, and he reads this stuff every day. So, like the guy said, he even says it. He says, "Hey, I want people the contact talk to me. This is how I say goodbye to people. This is for me, the fans." He said, so he even said, Facebook is the way to reach me. So I can see you guys, so I can, this is my heartfelt, pour my heart out to you. You guys pour your heart to me. He wants a connection. And like I said, he has, what I read from Greg Horn said, he has pancreatic cancer, stage 4 or something like that, which is, we all know that Patrick Swayze had this. Stomach cancer. My aunt had this too. It's the chances of you being healed from this is slim to none. But miracles do happen every day. We don't know. Never give up. And like I said, positivity, give this, reach out to the guy. It sucks that people wait till someone's dying before they give a damn about them. How often do you see videos about George Perez? Unless it's in the mail. Obviously,
you're about to make me feel bad, man, because that's what when
I know, but we still bring him up though. When we do the auctions, we talk about him, his books and stuff. We talk about his art
every
stuff.
time.
But a lot of these channels do not even care about George Perez. They don't care about anybody. It's like I said, there are channels who focus on the woke SJWs. That's their thing. Now they might not be a fan of Perez, or they are, but anything. It is kind of cringy though when people do come on, and I'm saying you're cringy. We're calling out those people too, because
one of the reasons why is because, in all honesty, positivity doesn't sell. So, but we're going to be talking about his books. Like I said, I want to do that, and I do agree. If you want to go over and say something, thank you very much for leaving the link there. Yeah. Computer bot saying, Englity VENKMAN, everyone. I think I'm just going to skip on the street because it really hit me in the heart. The guy who created the modern Teen Titans has cancer. Yep. His Heroes Charging covers are absolutely great. I have the statue set that's based on the new Teen Titans issue #1. It's amazing, by the way, and I'm glad that they did that. I'm glad I have a copy of it, or all of the statues. It's just an amazing set. Jughead saying the cover of Supergirl's death from Christ, excellent, fan-freaking-tastic cover. And at one convention, I remember there was a girl dressed like Supergirl, and George Perez picked her up and did the Superman yell pictures. I wish if I could find it, I'll show it off, because it really is a decent picture. Let's see. Perez has never drawn a Lego figure superhero. Every superhero in a group shot has a distinct and iconic look in their character, and it's one of the things that made him great. MK, damn, that pad is old and epic at the same time. England's favorite mouse pad. That damn straight. I wanted something cool in comic book, and when I saw it, I was like, hell yeah. Hell freaking yeah. I had only been into comics for about 11 months when I picked up Avengers 141, his first on the title. I was blown away by his work and still am, says Jackson Raykirk.
I put the link in there for his Facebook page in the private chats if you want to read the thing, his letter to us.
Oh, I've got it.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you did that. Okay.
As a matter of fact, let's get to it. This is in his own words here. Or at least I think it's his message, and somebody put it down by the way, because it says, from George to his fans, friends, and extended family, please read below. This page will serve as a place to connect with George as well as receive updates. Please respect the privacy of George and his family at this difficult time and reach out only through this avenue. Thank you, and please see below. To all my fans, friends, and extended family, It's rather hard to believe that it's been almost 3 years since I formally announced my retirement from producing comics due to my failing vision and other infirmities brought on primarily by my diabetes. Shit, maybe I need to start eating well. At the time, I was flattered and humbled by the number of tributes and testimonials given to me by my fans and peers. The kind words spoken on the occasion were so heartwarming that I used to quip that the only thing missing from those events was me lying in a box. I know. That's what I'm saying right now. We're not eulogizing him yet. We're gonna celebrate him. It was amusing at the time, I thought. Now, not so much. On November 29th, I received confirmation that after undergoing surgery for a blockage in my liver, I have stage 3 pancreatic cancer. It is surgically inoperable, and my estimated life expectancy is between 6 months to a year. I have been given the option of chemotherapy and or radiation therapy, excuse me. But after weighing all the variables and assessing just how much of my remaining days would be eaten up by doctor visits, treatments, hospital stays, and dealing with the often stressful and frustrating bureaucracy of the medical system, I've opted to just let nature take its course, and I will enjoy whatever time I have left as fully as possible with my beautiful wife of over 40 years, my family, friends, and my fans. Since I received my diagnosis and prognosis, those in my inner circle have given me so much love and support and help, both practical and emotional. They've given me peace. There will be some business matters to take care of before I go. I am already arranging with my art agent to refund the money paid for sketches that I can no longer finish. And since despite only having one working eye, I could still sign my name, I hope to coordinate one last mass book signing to help make my passing a bit easier. I also hope that I will be able to make one last public appearance wherein I can be photographed with as many fans as possible, with the proviso that I get to hug each and every one of them. I just want to be able to say goodbye with smiles as well as tears. I know that many of you will have questions to ask or comments to make, and rather than fueling fires of speculation and well-meaning but potentially harmful miscommunication, I will be returning to the arena of social media by starting a new Facebook account where fans and friends can communicate with me or my designated rep directly for updates and clarification. For media and press inquiries, please use the contact information on the pages as well. Please respect the privacy of my wife and family at this time and use Facebook page rather than reaching out through other channels. I may not be able to respond as quickly as I would, and since I will be endeavoring to get as much outside pleasure as I can in the time allotted to me, but I will do my best. Kind words would also be greatly appreciated. More details to follow once it's up and running. Well, that's it for now. This is not a message I enjoyed writing, especially during the holiday season. But oddly enough, I'm feeling the Christmas spirit more now than I have in many years. Maybe it's because it will likely be my last. Or maybe because I am enveloped in the loving arms of so many who love me as much as I love them. It's quite uplifting to be told that you've led a good life, that you brought joy to so many lives, and that you'll be leaving this world a better place because you were part of it. To paraphrase Lou Gehrig, some people may think I got a bad break, but today I feel like the luckiest man on the face of the earth. Take care of yourselves, and thank you, George Perez. Okay.
It is.
I'm going to dry my eyes. And
I know, right? I'm, you know.
I can't because my wife's here. I can't tear up in front of the woman. Right, honey?
No, only she can make you cry. No one else.
I know, right?
I'm just thinking, rereading this, it's the guy. He's scared. Anybody would be this going and facing death. I'm just thinking, 40 years with his wife, and then family members and his wife. What she's going through, and him. He's opted not to take any chemo and stuff because he wanted to spend more time with everyone else, and that's an emotional decision as it is. But. We all got to face death sometime, but it's just sad, it's just, we all have loved ones. The holidays is usually the worst time because we have had loved ones pass away. I've had a loved one pass away after Christmas. Eric had one Christmas Day, I think. It's scary.
This year, I lost a cousin
Yeah.
To cancer, and I lost an aunt to complications caused by COVID. She had another medical condition that was exacerbated, and she does not want to be listed as a patient or as a death of COVID.
Yeah,
but I'm pretty sure they did anyway. But
yeah, it's
let's see. I am pretty sure that all of the messages are positive. I love you, George. Praying for miraculous healing. I hope this message reaches you in spirit. It's given. I would not be here where I am if you hadn't helped light the way for me. God bless you, George. That's Jamal Yasmin. The first one was Rob Lightfield. I love you, George. Billy Tucci, love you very much. Uncle George, praying for comfort and healing. Kurt Busick says, this is devastating, George, but I'm glad we got a chance to say thank you while you're here with us. This right here is the hobby that I joined. I hate the way the hobby's become. The divisiveness. There's a writer I like. He's not the best, but he's good. His name's Brian Underhill, I believe it is. He's the writer of Batman and the Outsiders. He did one thing that he's always said is, I don't care about your politics. We all love comics. And that's the way that I've been for quite a while. This hobby is absolutely accepting of everybody. No matter what you look like, no matter if you're infirmed or not, the one place you could always go to, at least in the beginning, when I know when I was first going to conventions, when I would first go to the comic shops, this was the place for you to be accepted and loved. Didn't matter politics, didn't matter the way you looked or how you acted. We all were geeks. We were all nerds. Well, more geek than nerd, but because I always thought there was a difference. So it kind of hurts to see where we've come. But here we have people like Kurt Busick who would tear you apart for being conservative. But
Mark Wade's on there too.
We're all here. We're all here to support George Perez. And one thing that I know for a fact, because when I was going through some hardships, when I lost my family, I was made to feel better by people just saying, we care about you. You know, hey, I hope you're feeling okay. It is actually uplifting. So yes, please, by all means, go to George Perez's Facebook. And if he means anything to you, say that. Just say thank you. Or tell him why you think he was so influential. Because it works. I do not buy into the, well, all you got is hopes and prayers. Yeah, because aside from a conversation I had with him 20 years ago, I don't know George Perez except for his work and how it's affected. Mm-hmm. So all I have for him are words, thoughts, and prayers. And in his words himself, they're going to help. So by all means, please leave your thoughts and prayers for George. And hello to Eric. How you doing?
I'm all right.
Good to hear.
It's I don't know if he caught his message at all when he was reading it before he jumped on Eric. And he says, like, it's funny. Like, I hate to do this on the holidays because it's supposed to be a bright thing. But I'm reading the comments. A lot of people said like they've had loved ones die from pancreatic cancer, just cancer in general. They have their love and support for them. People are posting photos that they took with him, and people are just saying overall, it's like he says, no matter what your politics are, the guy's a human being. It sucks. It can happen to any one of us. Yeah. It's scary. And the fact that he's putting on a brave face is one thing, but I'm sure deep down he's scared too. It's like he's only 67 years old.
George, no other artist, says Brad Meltzer, has had much impact on my life. Just need to say that out loud. One true highlight of my career was writing a Justice League Zero page just so you could draw it. And what did you do when you found out? You gave me the page. Love you and thank you very much. So there you go. But as I said before, he is not dead yet. So once again, we're going to be talking about his books here. We're going to be going through some runs, and when we're doing our readings on Friday, we're going to be doing some George Perez stuff. So like I said, by the time he does pass, I want people to understand exactly why this guy is lauded. I think. Hope you're in for that, Eric.
You know, it's you're mentioning, you know, it doesn't matter what your politics are, and there is kind of an amusing George Perez story as it pertains to politics. That after the 2016 election, he said he would no longer do conventions in red states. But he changed his mind because he found out that's where all the best bondage clubs were, which
really
is his other passion.
All righty. I don't know if that was in the spirit of what we're trying to do here, but okay, that's awesome.
You gotta laugh sometimes.
People have their things, man. People have their things. Jughead saying, the older I get, the more I think about how much time I have left. You're 20. But yeah, that does actually happen. Especially when you get to Eric and mine's age. We joke, but in all honesty, we could be brothers in the same family. And you realize that, say, a year to us is not the same as a year to VENKMAN or a year to, say, Pixel, you know, who's just shy of 20. You know, he's just a little bit over the 20-year mark. A year to him, oh my gosh, he went from 22 to 23. A year for Eric, he's one step closer to 60. He's only 1 year away. And so, yeah, you really do. Oh, really? You're 50? Good Lord. What the hell did I do wrong in my life? You look like you're in your 20s, Jug. But the thing is, yeah, you get to a point and you're like, holy crap. You know, it's, and then, yes, you do see certain people who passed away. I'm older than John Candy has ever been. That actually blew my mind. I was watching Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and Gail and I were talking. She looked up because, you know, he passed away, and Gail looks at the IMDb and she goes, "Oh my gosh, he was 45." That kind of blew my mind, you know, because to me, John Candy was the uncle. He was Uncle Buck for everybody. You know, it's just one of those things. I'm 1 year away from John Ritter's death. You know, and this is way too young. Eric is way too young. George Perez, even at 67, in my opinion, is way too freaking young. I don't know what is the right age to die, but I think it's more closer to 140.
102.
Yeah,
I can't move.
Yeah, because your timing and all that. Tonight's the Jimmy V Classic, and if that means nothing to you, that's in honor of Jim Valvano, who gave the famous speech when he was diagnosed basically with terminal cancer, and he died a couple months after the speech. It's probably the most famous sports speech, not the Lou Gehrig one. And they redo it once a year, and tonight was the night. I just listened to that before I came on, and I said it's so touching, even almost 30 years later.
Yeah, it's something. We are going to talk about some other things tonight. I don't know how we're going to pivot, but we are. And yes, pivot. And yes, I have because I have a couple of things I want to show. I want to show you guys, mostly Eric, because Eric has this book, and it looks like the Book of Destiny. It's about yay big, and I managed to pick something up today. I shouldn't have. It was one of those where I'm going out to buy Christmas presents for me, apparently.
'Tis a season to be greedy,
because I don't usually buy a lot for myself, but occasionally something comes along, so I will be showing those off as well. Amara saying, "Jugs, I saw you on Jeopardy a few nights ago." No way, you're fit. No, right. That's what I'm saying. Hendricks, I think, nails it. If you could still enjoy life, you're too young. Jim Sorensen, I have no idea what happened to this year. I know, right? It's just, do you guys reckon Perez's involvement in the fetish community tarnishes his legacy? You know what? No, I don't.
Not at all.
In all honesty, I don't, mainly because
never heard it until now.
It's not exactly a well-known thing.
Is there any proof? Are there photographs of him hanging out with Bill Clinton?
Oh no. He's not shy about it.
But also, and this is one thing why I was completely against the removal of statues. At least if you're going to take down the Confederate ones, put them in a museum, don't destroy them. But I'm definitely against like the removal of Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, so forth and so on, because we are not celebrating those men for being slave owners. We're celebrating them for the creation of the country. I think, yeah, George had kink, not something I would be into. I think Gail would beat the snot out of me if I tried. But the thing is we're celebrating. Yeah, we're celebrating him for his art, for the comics, for
being
that.
a human being in general.
Now, to be fair to George, his main partner in kink was Mrs. Perez.
Yes, so that's
it's not a.
I would love to talk about any other aspect of George Perez's life right now. So
I don't.
Just saying, he wasn't stepping out on the misses.
Different strokes for different folks. Okay.
There you go. For me to ruin your own reputation with me, you'd have to do something like eat babies. Human babies. Okay.
Yeah,
so anyway,
more specific.
Yeah.
I do love calves.
I got but he's talking about human calves. I got a high standard to cut someone off in my life. There is supposed to be an Art of Perez book by Marvel coming out. That would be awesome. It doesn't bother me at all, says Amaro. I love Perez and was just wondering because it's rarely talked about.
It was okay.
And Hendricks is saying I can't escape the topic. It's literally called bondage.
He meant bandage, like a bandage,
A bandage. Yes, he's into bandage, not bondage. That's
you got a boo boo. He likes the band-aid. He wanted to get the Mickey Mouse one. Okay.
Right. So there you go. So Eric.
Yes.
If we do a reading of a George Perez drawn book, what do you think is one that we absolutely should do?
Wow.
I know he created at least one really cool character who actually has a first appearance. And I would love to do the first appearance of Deathlock, which was George Perez. I believe it was his first Marvel work, wasn't it?
It would have been close because he also did Creatures on the Loose, the Man-Wolf series in his very early days.
Yeah, it'd be one of those. But I think that would be a good one. The first appearance of Deathlock. Obviously, New Teen Titans #1 or the DC Comics.
Well, you say a book. Do you mean flop or do you mean book like Infinity Gauntlet?
So we'll have to talk about the entire story. Did he draw the entirety of the Infinity Gauntlet? Because I remember it was a couple issues.
The first two.
Yeah, John Lim took over.
Yeah.
Oh. Teen Titans X-Men crossover. That is something. Oh, okay. Dang it. Dang it.
Whoopsies. Now we could read JLA Avengers, but if we started now, we would be ringing in the new year before we could finish the first issue.
That was a couple of double-sized issues. That would be broken.
And they're wordy.
He's got 6 months, so by the time we finish, maybe
I said he drew a good chunk of my favorite storyline of all time, but he didn't finish that either. That's the Korvac saga.
Ah, nice. But there you go. There's a few of them we're gonna have to check out and we're gonna talk about and such. I'm looking forward to this. I'm a huge, like I said, I love his art, man. Love his art. So I'm looking forward to it.
Brave and the Bold, he did some too.
And we'll deal with the loss when we have the loss. Until now, once again. Hello, my friend, says God Tank. How do you do, sir? Hope everything is going well. Yeah, I don't know. This was the prime thing we're going to talk about. What else do you want? What do you want to bring up there?
Wonder Woman Volume 2, 1 through 24, as Perez wrote and drew.
Yeah, that would be something to talk about as well. Although I know Eric doesn't like the Perez run as much, it would at least be worthy of talking about.
Whatever happened to the Man of Tomorrow? He did the inks over Kurt Swan. Superman 423.
Okay. So I went out. I made a mistake, by the way.
You made a steak? Ooh.
I made a mistake.
Oh, mistake. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, dang it.
We had somebody show up at the auction, and there was a troll. There was a couple of trolls, or at least one troll with a couple of accounts, because that's a lost life right there. I'm sorry, but if you have nothing better to do but create a whole bunch of different accounts and then troll somebody like that on a Saturday night, come on. That's a lost life. So a guy shows up, trolls around, and then
make twice.
Yeah, I ended up blocking him because he decided to get vulgar. And then not soon after, somebody shows up, and it looks like it's never something I've never seen before, and it was TODD.va.POTE. And I was like, okay, this looks fake. In all honesty, it looks like one of those. I thought too,
because it's right.
It looks like one of those porn sites that show up occasionally. And I was like, but they put a bid on it, so okay, I took it. And
it was only one bid, and they're gone.
Hold on, yeah, they didn't comment after that. I actually asked, "Hello, are you there? Can we get in?" And I thought, okay, they were a troll too, so I gave the book to the next bidder. Darkness Comes, only to find out that the person paid, and it's Todd Van Pool, one of my viewers from the days that this channel was called the Grove of Eglantine. I felt so freaking stupid, so I had to go out and hunt this book down again for him. And while I was there, I found some other things. I was going to pick up a epic collection of the Todd McFarlane Spider-Man, which now I hope is still there, because I know I've got a lot of Todd McFarlane Spider-Man fans here. But something popped up that I think this is the most amazing thing, and I have to show it off. It's like, oh my gosh, Eric, your head's gonna explode. I did find.
Don't look, Eric. I want you to die.
I know. I don't. Yeah, maybe that's a bad thing. Yeah. So I was able to find The Man Without Fear, but done by Miller and Ramita.
Cool.
I know, right? It's amazing, right? No, that's not. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
He found a score bar.
Hold on. Oh my gosh.
That blew my mind.
What I found was this. Oh, hold on. I'm not.
What's the shipping on that? First
what
class?
I found was this. This thing is freaking huge, man. It is get this big ass book right here, which I swear to God, it's got to be 1.5 feet tall. This thing is goddamn huge. Look at the freaking art on this thing, man.
Yeah, I like the sticker in the back.
Yeah, I'm gonna take baby wipes to it and get that shit off. But you gotta look at. I mean, I know you love this book.
So what all is in it?
Hold on just a second. Let me say. So the panels are that goddamn big. You can actually see. Yeah, I know. Being old men, we're like, oh, my eyes, I can't see that.
Breen's like, I don't have to zoom in. I can sit back on the couch.
I know, right?
No, it's big enough to read, but too heavy to lift.
So this has the Fantastic Four, number 48 through 50, the Galactus trilogy, and then it's got 74 through 77. 120 through 123, and 242 through 244. So basically, all of the first appearances of Galactus, all of the early appearances of Galactus is in this thing, and it's, oh my gosh, look at this right there, bub. Tell me that ain't awesomeness. So yeah, I was looking. I was looking at it today. Now, granted, this one only ran $15 because it's a little roughed up. But I did not care when I saw this. I'm like, okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That wasn't the most awesome thing I got here, Eric. Seriously, I'm sure you believe that is awesome in its own right. This right here. I actually was saying to myself, I don't have any Doctor Strange trade paperbacks. And I was there. I saw this. I was like, oh my gosh, it's a Ditko book? What the hell? And I was thinking, because it says Ditko is Strange. So I thought maybe it was his art. This one is in excellent condition, by the way. And it's, oh my gosh, like it's once again.
I gotta say,
if you like Silver Age art, if you like Ditko art, look at.
Hey, Breen, that's one giant Ditko.
I don't know if you're trying to make a penis joke, but it doesn't work there. See, there you go. So in this one right here, it has where is it? Where is it? Strange Tales 110 and 111, 114 through 146. So there you go. I managed to find these today. Oh,
yeah, and in a remarkable coincidence, I got an email from my Ollies today that said, "Don't even think about it."
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I'm like, oh my gosh. So the problem is that normally I go out and I buy books for the auction, so I might have to do like a quarter book auction.
You need to buy one of those art easel things. You set it on there, look at
Oh
painting,
yeah, well, I was sitting on the bed with it just open up, and I was.
The bed just sinks to one side.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, hey, Jackson's right.
What's up?
Where's 171 through 175?
I don't know what.
Well, he shows up at the end of 172, but that's the storyline where it's right after the Power Man story, and when the Thing becomes Ben Grimm permanently, he gets the exoskeleton.
Yeah.
And he pisses Galactus off, and he kind of zaps him, and Ben doesn't know what it is, what he did to him, because he even makes a comment. He goes, "I've been knocked around worse by a can of Raid," but then he ends up busting out of the exoskeleton and becomes the Thing again.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't know, but I don't care. I mean, it would have been nice to be included, but I'm not going to cry about it because I'm sorry. I still look at this and go, holy crap, this is pure awesomeness.
Of course, you add 5 more issues, you probably can't lift it.
Are you putting those in the auction or just for your own personal collection?
I can't even figure out a way to properly ship this. I maybe wrap it up in paper and ship it medium mail that way for already $10. But in all honesty, this is my. I don't even know where I would.
Do you have any old VHS boxes? The player boxes come in. You buy a DVD player.
Yeah, I know, right?
Those old ones.
But I mean, I'm looking at giant-sized Jack Kirby art. Come on, man! Seriously.
I don't know. I mean, that'd be great to put on as a big dog because it actually is freaking big.
I know, right?
Nah, It bugs me that he never keeps anything for himself. So I think that's a good place to,
I've got a few books that I'll never sell. You know that.
Gail's like, we have enough books. That takes up a whole entire corner by itself.
Actually, Gail, answer this loud enough. Did I or did I not try and ask you permission if I could buy these? See, I made sure that Gail was A-okay with me making this purchase. But I do have books that I keep for myself. You know, there are a couple
you
of
sold
them.
it and had to get it back.
That's true, but I got it back. Okay, there are
I don't
things
know. Like I said, the trade. There's gonna be a lot of cool masterworks coming into the trades coming into the future auctions. I actually went to go back at one of the auctions of masterworks. It was really kind of cool, and I came across another volume of it. So be looking for these. This is volume 1 of the USA Comics Masterworks. This is 1 through 4 on here, which is really kind of cool.
Comics I have kept for myself. Oh, and by the way, yes, that is awesome.
Yeah, and then so I'll be doing that, and then this will be shipping over to E to put on a future auction.
Yeah, it'll
be
good.
Yeah, and this has
if it makes it to auction, that might be one of the things I keep for myself. I love going.
But so that's volume 1. I'm like, okay, I'll go there. I did volume 1. Yeah. And then I come across volume 2.
Some awesome Golden Age Marvel
Captain
books.
America's in it. And this is issues 5 through 8.
Yeah.
These are awesome books. So if you really want to have a piece of Stan Lee Golden Age history, there you go. That's what you need.
There you go. Jughead saying you would have to put it in your car and drive it to the winter. Krenez saying,
well, you are going over to what's his name? Greens, aren't you?
Yeah. Books sized for my Hulk hands, says Krenez. Those books could be surfboards. They're huge. But yes, I do keep books for myself. And I still have this one. Never sold it. Never even considered selling it. I actually considered putting it in, slabbing it, seeing what it would get.
Yeah.
My guess is around 7.5, maybe 8 tops.
I was thinking you should do for Christmas. Each purchase comes with a little miniature candy cane. You can put in there for Christmas. Hey, I got enough of them.
I still have this because it's one of my favorite covers. I've always loved this cover. I've seen this book go for about 100 mint. In its condition here, it's probably about 30, maybe 40 bucks. It's got a few problems, as you can see on the bottom, but otherwise, pretty good condition. I just love the cover. I just think this is one of the greatest covers ever drawn.
I would say, though, for that coffee book table one, if you sent it, though, you're looking up to like $20 shipping.
Oh, most definitely. But
the weight.
What? Aside from the fact that I honestly don't know where I'll put it, but I like them.
Yeah.
And they're excellent books to have. I recently acquired this, so I'm going to keep this one because thanks to VENKMAN, I have the statue, and I'm going to hang it next to the statue. If you guys are wondering, that Rocketeer statue, that was a gift from VENKMAN. Thank you very much. And this is the first appearance of Rocketeer.
There's not a camera in it whatsoever. No modern device.
Right. And of course, you guys also know that I've kept one of these for myself because I just think this is one of the most wild, awesome comics ever written. So there we go. I do keep some for myself, but not very much. Mostly it's trade paperbacks and hardcovers that I keep for myself.
But I know you're a big Alice Cooper fan. Have you seen the latest commercial he's in?
No.
Baker Mayfield does a bunch of commercials. I think it's for Progressive, where he lives in the Cleveland Browns stadium. And in the latest one, he's gone next door to give somebody a package that came to his house by mistake. And it's these big giant snake boots, and it's Alice Cooper is his next door neighbor.
Awesome.
And he goes, are you sure these aren't yours? And Mayfield goes, I'm pretty sure. And he goes, online shopping, that's my curse. And he goes, and Mayfield goes, yeah, me too. And he goes, oh, by the way, do you have a wheelbarrow I could borrow? I want to do some mulching.
That's funny. So I was going to get, me and Gail are talking about this next Christmas, this Christmas, and we didn't want to get the kids stuff. There's a lot of stuff, even with each other. We just noticed we have a lot of stuff. Let's get some experiences. And for the kids, Alice Cooper is coming to the Hard Rock Cafe in Orlando. So I'm going to be buying, for Christmas, I'm going to get them tickets to go see Alice Cooper. I was talking to Ashley, and I asked her, what do you think about that? And, oh my gosh, yeah, great idea. So, yeah.
Right.
I was thinking, well, should I buy the kids tickets for themselves and not for myself? Or no, I'm going to go with them. Yeah. I can't wait to see him. I think that's going to be awesome. I've never seen Alice Cooper in concert. So, let's see. Pacific Comics. I have a lot of their comics, says Jughead. We're not worthy, says Ed Brewer. Of course, the Alice Cooper thing. Yeah, never saw him. I saw Iron Maiden. I know they're coming in October, and Gail and I are going to go see him in concert because Gail's a huge Iron Maiden fan. She actually said she once had a crush on Eddie, which I think is kind of disturbing. But skydiving is an experience. Yes, Jughead, it truly is. Alice Cooper is great. Totally not exercising my bias as a Christian. Hey, Rhaegar, how's it going? How's it going? Oh, no, but Galen.
See what he would have been here earlier if somebody ran late today. Hey.
I know. I guess it was him. But there you go. Those are some things. I wanted to show those books off to you, Eric. I thought you would appreciate, especially.
Eric's like, you mean these?
Oh, no,
yeah,
no,
I got that right here in my bag, but I've got a smaller, more that actually folds out.
That's what I'm using for my lumbar support in my back.
Mhm.
On the coach.
No, if I honestly thought for a second that my, what passes for an Ollie's would have those, I'd go out there tomorrow. But I know better. Not even worth a call.
Yeah, I almost didn't get this Fantastic Four because of the condition, but then I thought,
yeah, I can only imagine what the full price retail those when they brand new came out, probably like close to $100.
Yeah, they're $100. Yeah, exactly, $100.
Close to retail. Yeah. Nowadays they're probably not so much, but who knows? Might be more. It might be more.
The Fantastic Four they were selling for $15. The Doctor Strange was $30.
Wow.
I know, right?
That's insane. For you guys, if we sell it, it is $40.
Well, I've got to make a profit. Yes,
I know, right?
That's why. That's how you. That's how.
Daddy needs some moolah. He needs some bacon for Christmas.
Yeah, but no, I don't think I'm selling.
Many trees died for this big book.
I know, right? And I don't care. I don't care.
Some baby trees out there without his parents because they're cut down to be printed on Marvel books.
Yeah, some trees died because of neglect. Some trees died because bigger trees grew around them. Some trees die every day. I'm not going to feel guilty.
Now that tree's a vigilante. Yeah, his parents
are murdered. These trees family was killed in a park.
Did you say vigilante?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even hear that. That's awesome. That was stupid. Oh my gosh. So I don't even know what else is going on. What was it? Shang-Chi got a sequel.
Of course.
So I heard some people reacting to that. Some people are like, oh, sounds cool. Oh, all right. Some people say, oh. And then, of course, you have oh, why are they doing that? The other one sucked. Okay, whatever. Just don't go see it. If you don't want to see it, don't go see it. I don't know. But I honestly have nothing other than that. I wanted to talk about George Perez.
There is a season 2 trailer for Superman and Lois.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
That's out there. Just looking at stuff. It's popping up. Season 3 Harley Quinn is supposed to be coming out later this year.
And unfortunately, Neil Adams has been silent. It's been kind of disappointing. I got to find out where Neil Adams has gone, so we can find out more shit that Neil Adams has said, so we could talk about it. I don't know. Nope. Don't go see what Spider-Man. No, the Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi apparently got another green light for a sequel. Obviously, it was going to. People liked it. It was exciting. It got people out to theaters again. And Disney sees that. Disney knows that. So they're making a sequel. It makes sense to me. But unfortunately, some people don't like the idea. So I don't know. He's hiding in Hollow Earth. For those of you who don't quite know, we used to do a segment called Shit Neil Adams Says, because Neil Adams has lost his freaking mind. And he went completely deranged in some of the things. The last message we got from him was on November 8th, where he said, Elon Musk, why do you need other people's opinions to sell 10% of your stock to benefit the hungry people of the world? You'll make that money back in less than a year. I have 10% of my money divided evenly to my kids as a gesture. Money spent on good reasons come back quickly. I think that's a horrible, horrible thing to say, because how much does Elon Musk really give to charity? Even if he gives 1%, wouldn't that
there you go.
just collapse the whole Neil Adams thing? It's just one of those. It's a horribly misguided thing to say because it makes a lot of assumptions.
Now, to be in Neil's defense, a family that he has probably held in enormous esteem has been completely discredited and disgraced. And I mean, the president that I'm sure he thought was going to fix everything has been an unmitigated disaster. The family, of course, I'm speaking of are the Cuomos. Yeah. I mean, he doesn't. Where is he? There's not really a whole lot he can say right now, and not just really come off as not only being unhinged like he was before, but being really idiotic. And I know that his other stuff was, but he's probably just, like I said, curled up in the fetal position somewhere.
Well, looking on his Facebook page and not seeing much of anything else. It's just advertisements. And they did a sale and auction, I guess.
I don't know.
Let's face it.
Yeah.
He could probably sell a couple of things. But yeah, I'm not exactly seeing his going off on things and such. The last one was November 26th. And it's really he's got turned into an auctioneer a lot worse than I have ever been. So
Larry Hama came out and just started dismaying Marvel.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's in an article. Private chat.
Send it. Yeah, send it.
It's in a private chat.
He said what now?
G.I. Joe writer Larry Hama shares a dismaying Marvel story about Pearl Harbor and white privilege.
Okay, let's check
how
this out.
former Marvel people would make fun of Morris Komodo and in racist remarks about Pearl Harbor, of how he dive bombed Pearl Harbor. So,
G.I. Joe writer Larry Hama shares this amazing story about Pearl Harbor and white privilege. On the 80th anniversary of the bombing of Pearl Harbor, Larry Hama shares a sad story about legendary longtime Marvel staffer Mori Kuramoto. And it says, today on the 80th anniversary of Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, the day that lived in infamy and led the United States into bombing, blah, 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 la, la, la. Larry Hama shared a chilling piece of Marvel history related to a longtime Marvel staffer, Mori Kuramoto, how Kuramoto was treated every year on December 7th, and why it should shape how we all view our own privilege. Blah, 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 blah.
Go down to where it goes under related.
Okay. Hama ended his post by making them put yourself in his shoes and then re-examine. You know what? Here's the thing. Here it is, right here, and I'll read it off in just a moment. So let me just speak to this bullshit about the privilege thing. Everybody has different problems and different privileges. I did not have the privilege to be an artist good enough to work for Marvel. So shut it down. I'm sorry. As soon as you bring up privilege, I'm just, you know what? Fuck you. It's America. You make it. Some people are born poor and they can work their way out of it. Some people are born poor and they don't. But they find other ways to make their lives happy unless they just let it destroy them. But it is their choice. It is their freaking choice. The fact that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10,000 people, whatever you want, make their way out of poverty, however many, it means you've got that same opportunity. Do it. There are some people who are born on third base and they believe they hit a triple. That's none of your concern. Your concern is where you start and what you're going to freaking do about it. I do not buy into this whole you are privileged crap. I think some people are, but not because of not in any way, shape, or form that makes life that much easier for them. They've got to go through their own troubles and tribulations as well. I don't know.
You know, I realized that it wasn't only until recently that conservatives and Republicans were completely blackballed from the big two. But it was never a bastion of conservatism.
No, never
in
was.
all those years. So if Larry's telling the truth, some of those people would have been leftist Democrats. So what does that say about? I mean, it's And man, has he just become a whiner in his later years.
What he actually said is, and this is an article that he didn't read. It says, longtime Marvel letter Rick Parker has shared a similar version of the story in the past regarding that time that Carmine finally did snap back. I remember that every December that we would mercilessly tease this one Japanese coworker. We had the Marvel bullpen, a fellow by the name of Mori. Cartoonist.
I was going to read it.
Well, you're not sharing the screen anymore, so I figured you were just...
No, I'm going to read it. I was talking to people. Chill out, man. Relax. I'm there. All righty. Okay, let's... But I know the privilege thing triggers me a bit, I guess.
Yeah.
And I hate using that word. I've got to find a different word than trigger because I don't like using their language. So Hama explained, every year on this day, the old hands in Marvel bullpen would rag supposedly good-natured Morris Kuramoto about dive bombing Pearl Harbor. I've heard many a bullpenner remark about what a good sport he was about it. It wasn't until after he passed that they found out that he was a vet of the 442nd Infantry Combat Team and that he slogged through Italy, France, and Germany with one of the most decorated units in World War II. He never talked about his combat experience while his family was locked behind barbed wire, nor did he complain about the discrimination he faced after war. And I would have to point out, because I know someone like Larry Hama has bashed Republicans and conservatives like myself.
Yep.
Who was it that put him behind the barbed wire? Just saying. Hama ended his post by making the point, put yourself in his shoes and then re-examine your privilege quotient. Okay, let's see. You're rich. I'm not. Let's start there. You could say you earned it, but that's not the way things work, right? Kuramoto first started working as a letterer and production artist at Marvel in the 1950s before the company got rid of most of its staff in a downturn in 1957, which, of course, was happening across the line. It's not just Marvel. And in the late 1960s, Kuramoto returned to Marvel and remained on staff until he sadly died of a heart attack on his way to work in 1985. And it says... Marvel letterer Rick Parker shared similar version of the story in the past regarding the time that Kuramoto finally did snap back. I remember that every December 7th, we would mercilessly tease the one Japanese coworker we had in a Marvel bullpen, a fellow by the name of Mori Kuramoto. Cartoonist Maurice Severin would annually do a hilarious cartoon of Mori engage in some sort of type of warlike situation, and we'd all gather around his desk when she presented the cartoon to him, and we all have a good laugh. Everyone, that is, except for Maury, who managed a tight-lipped smile or took a long drag on the Chesterfield King that hung permanently from his lips, making him look like some character in a B-movie. Eventually, though, Parker explained, one year, though, when Marie had him piloting a plane and dropping bombs on the Empire State Building, he couldn't take it anymore. That was the proverbial straw that broke the camel's back. This time, instead of bombs exploding or peals of laughter bursting from the assembled multitude, it was Maury who exploded, and he really let us have it. We learned a lot that day. Parker then detailed the same facts that Hama noted above, leaving Parker to conclude, we learned that there is often more to the coworker sitting quietly next to you. And I'll say this, part of the problem, and I know this is going to be taken as blaming the victim, but part of the problem is that the victim didn't speak up. It's part of it. It is not good that they did that. I'm not saying it was good that they did that. But if he went along with it, if he smiled, if he did that, and they thought that he was going along with it, he should have said something. He should have said something at the beginning. Guys, you know, I'm an American war veteran, and I fought for America. You need to end this.
Even if they don't know.
Should have said it.
Yeah, even if they don't know it. He could have been. I mean, he could have been raised just just let it slide, water and off your back. He's probably But I'm just saying, we don't know his reasons why he didn't do it. Maybe it was a fear of losing his job back then.
Well, one thing that I know from reading the biography of Marvel that I did have around here, more than likely the people who did this were also liberal Democrats.
Right,
because
exactly.
It was so freaking leftist over there during. I mean, that's why you got a lot of the stories that you did.
It still
even
is.
at Denny O'Neill And Neil Adams, you both know, were far to the left. That's why they did what they did with Green Lantern and Green Arrow. It was very much like that. It's very okay for them to have done that in their eyes.
All this proves to me is that Marvel's always been racist.
Well,
no, I don't.
Not all of them, but there's been here and there.
That Larry Hama found a way to get in shots at the United States and make this day somehow about.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm saying I'm just saying I'm not surprised that Marvel or DC had people like this in there. Look at how they are today.
Well, they still are. I'm sorry, but I will call out. Look, I don't think that Marvel and DC companies are
not the company itself, but the people in
the thing is I think that, in all honesty, this is a theory, of course, because we weren't there. We don't know how people think.
No.
I honestly believe, because he didn't say anything and he would smile and he would go about his business, they actually thought it was an office camaraderie thing, making fun. Every year we do it, ha 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 ha, and that he was in on it. And that's why part of it, I do say that he should have said something. And today, Marvel isn't a racist company. Tom Taylor's a big ass racist, big ass homophobe. I don't think he means to be. I actually think that he's awesome. He thinks he's awesome. I think it's like these. I don't know if you guys know of this guy named Avi Arad. I believe he's Kiwi, and he goes. No, I'm thinking of two different people. Avi Arad. He's a Jewish guy. He does these man on the street videos. One of the things he did, he was talking about voter ID, like you have to have an ID to vote. So he goes and he talks to a whole bunch of white people. And do you think that voter ID is racist? And they said, yes. Why? Well, black people can't get ID. Black people can't use a computer to find where the DMV is to get the ID. Black people are incapable of finding the DMV. So they cannot get the ID they need to vote. And this is a way that racist people, like a conservative, wants to keep the black vote down, because black people are incapable of finding this. That is what they said. This is not me putting words in their mouth. This is their answers. And so Avi, he goes over to Harlem. Pardon me, do you have an ID? And people, of course I got an ID. What are you talking about? You need an ID in America. Do you know where the DMV is? Yeah, it's right. It's down on, and they would say where it was. Do you know how to use the internet? Of course. And people were looking at him like he had a freaking third head. And I honestly believe that those kids, those white kids that were saying that black people didn't know how to use a computer and all, I actually believe that they think that they are being the white saviors of sorts. They're standing up for the little guy. While they're doing that, though, they're coming off as amazingly racist. And I think that Marvel, in many ways today, is just like Marvel in the past, where they want to be, they want to be the progressive liberal going forward, showing how we're all in it together, yet they still name all of their black characters black something.
Yeah. Getting back to this guy that worked in the bullpen, you also got to remember, in the 60s and 70s, if you want to know how people treat each other, just watch a Dean Martin roast. Everyone was fair game. Yeah. And everybody gave as good as they got. Now, we don't know if he ever came back with, I'm sure there was a melting pot of ethnicities in the, working there. Who knows what the other ethnicities got, because that's how it was in those days. Because usually people just, no one took it seriously or personally. Now, maybe over time this guy did. And to your point, if you have a problem with something, you tell somebody. You might get some shit for it in the beginning, but eventually, if the person you tell that to has any character at all, they'll stop.
Yeah. Also, we aren't there. As Eric said, he just wanted to be known. He wanted to be talked about on December 7th today, because he wants be it all about something else than what it is.
Well,
we don't know if this really happened. We're getting someone, and then we're getting some other person saying, who's slightly collaborating. We don't know if this is really what happened. It's be two idiots who are just jealous of this other person, you know, and just, you know, it's all made up. People make up stuff and people articles. You've seen this with websites, you know.
Well, I'm gonna say something.
I'm sure Larry Hama said this stuff, but where's his sources?
I'll say something that you guys may never have thought you would ever hear from me. I think CBR did a good job, because while it was titled Larry Hama, the article was not about Larry Hama.
Nope.
They shifted very quickly away from Larry Hama and onto, frankly, a guy I'm now very interested in. I want to find out his history with comics. This is a Kuromoto guy. So, yeah, I've said this before. I'll say it again. There's a rich history with comics. There really is. I would highly recommend you pick up as many reference books as possible, as well as just the comics. Some of them are really cool to read. Some of them are just amazing reads. One I mentioned the what are we looking at?
Last comment.
House Palm Rhaegar of House Palm Face.
Yeah,
I don't get that.
No, he's right. I don't even know how I got my ID to drive. In a white Ally BLM is typing my responses into this phone.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I see that. You know, he's right. I don't even know how I got my ID to drive in a white Ally. There you go. I'm getting upset now. It's crazy to see how blind people are to those who torment us for our own good and torment us. Look, here's, you know, I sorry. I didn't mean to make it like the conversation or the live stream about this kind of stuff. I think it's an interesting story, and I think it's one of the problems that plague comic books today. In all honesty, it's the white savior complex. I do not like it when you see people nowadays, especially white people, use white as a pejorative, or any race really, but you see it now. And I think that one of the biggest problems is somewhere in the mid 2010s, all of a sudden, every black person on the face of the planet needed saving. And I was like, wait a second, what are you talking about? I mean, we literally have a black president. And by the way, he did one speech, one, where he actually said, with me as president, we have now we now have a light shone. We can do anything. We can be anything. He stepped out, and as I said before, he was, for one moment, one speech, he was the shining beacon on the hill that said, you know what? This proves it. Go out and do it now for black people. Just one. Once again, I wasn't there. I don't know if this happened, but he never made another speech like that. So I assume
the party set him straight.
Yeah, I assume that the other Democrats said, you can't say that. You can't say that. If black people don't understand that this country's against them, they're going to go out and succeed. And then what are we going to do? If black people get successful, a lot of them are going to become Republicans, and then we're going to lose, which has actually been shown. But he did it one. He did one. And I thought, dude, after all was said and done, I thought he was such a sellout. I'm sorry, but he freaking sold it out. He sold it out. His people, not the color of his skin, man. His people have a D. That's it. I don't know. Anyway, there you go. That's my political rant for the evening. Japanese privilege, the rape of Nanking. I bet he hasn't read anything about it, says Rhaegar. According to Joe Biden, I'm white. Well, he is at least 25% right. Let's see. Obama truly inspired hope and change. Obama brought so much change that that's all I have left, says Hendricks. I saw Obama for what he was when he first ran, which is why I never cast my vote for him in 2008, says Rhaegar. I got people mad at me because we were talking about his work. I worked at Universal Studios at this time. And I mentioned I would never vote for Obama. And, of course, that meant I was racist. I would never vote for a black man. I said, nah, I absolutely would. but not this guy. Because this guy is not saying anything that any Democrat has said. He's saying the same thing. And one thing I noticed early on in life is that because I followed politics, and I thought Reagan was the bomb. I really did, because the first election I truly paid attention to, I was about 12 years old. He went up against a guy named Mondale. And Mondale, I thought Ronald Reagan was funny. I saw my mom and dad would watch the speeches and he would tell jokes. I thought it was funny. So I liked him. And we watched, and we were watching the election. And Dennis Miller put it exactly the way I thought about it too. He says, by the end of the night, Mondale had 3 electoral votes, and Ronald Reagan, I forget, sorry, but I'm not good with the numbers, and I forget how many he needed, but Ronald Reagan had the rest. And he goes, well, if you think about it, that's only 3 more than I had, and I didn't even run. And I thought, yeah, exactly. So I always liked Reagan. But I started watching politics, and I noticed that every 4 years, or in actually any election, the Democrats would come out and say, black people, you have it worse than you ever did before. And it's all their fault. So vote for me. And it didn't matter who won. 2 years later, 4 years later, the Democrats will come out and they'll say, black people, you have it worse than you ever did before. And it's their fault. Black people, okay, here we go. 1988, black people, you never had it worse than you ever did before. And it's their fault. Even when Democrats won, it's their fault, and you've never had it worse than you have it now. And it occurred to me, wait a second, you were in charge. Bill Clinton is the president. You guys had everything, and you still 4 years later said that it's worse than ever, and it's their fault. And so I kind of I couldn't trust them. Anyway, and it's politicians, not people, by the way, that I go after. So.
Why can't we just all be excellent to each other?
Let's see. I voted for Larry Elder, says Hendricks, but then again, he's not on the plantation, so he ain't black. So true, Miles Morales is based on Obama. Heard that rumor years ago. I've never heard that. Did you hear that, Eric?
What's that?
Is Miles Morales based on Obama?
I thought it was based on his adopted son.
Yeah, Brian Michael Bendis. I thought he has an adopted daughter and a son.
Yeah.
Okay. Rhaegar saying I basically lied to people to avoid awkward conversations with coworkers.
No, yeah. The president Superman's based off Obama. Miles has nothing to do with Obama.
I could use a drink actually right now.
Just showing it wasn't a beer.
Yeah, President Superman was based on Obama. The what's his name?
Calvin
Ellis.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, since its creation, especially with Joshua Williamson handling the character, doesn't act anything like Obama. Thank you, Joshua.
If Obama had a son, Miles Morales would look like him. Goodness. Yeah, there's some good cringe.
It'd probably look more like Michael than him.
I don't know. Oh, well, you know what? If we're talking politics, this isn't politics really, but there's a character from a TV show. And it's a fantasy TV show. So, hey, it's part of the crowd. It's part of the group.
Uh-oh.
But I shared this out on Twitter because this just irked me, man. How can you not have a life? Okay, so somebody sent this letter to someone. I guess they had Christmas lights on. I couldn't help but notice your Christmas lights display during these unprecedented times. We have all experienced challenges, which casual words just don't describe what we're feeling. The idea of twinkling colorful lights are a reminder of divisions that continue to run through our society. A reminder of systematic biases against our neighbors who don't celebrate Christmas or who can't afford to put up lights of their own. We must do the work of educating ourselves about the harmful impact an outward-facing display like yours can have. I challenge you to respect the dignity of all people while striving to learn from the differences, ideas, and opinions of our neighbors. We must come together collectively and challenge these institutional inequities. St. Anthony is a community welcoming of all people, and we must demand better for ourselves. Have you ever noticed that idiots like these want to support every tribe but the tribe they belong to.
Karen bought a thesaurus.
I know, right? It's amazing to me. Now, this is I've never heard anyone. Now, granted, if it was a closed neighborhood and there were big ass lights and booming music and all that kind of stuff playing until late hours, you're going a step too far. But hanging up lights, I've never heard anybody say that, oh my gosh, I can't believe you hung up Christmas lights. And my response would be, oh my gosh, can I see yourself here? You're going to go home and do it. Because I don't get it. I don't get it, Eric.
Joyless bitch.
I called her Gladys Kravitz. You remember that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Amna. For those of you who don't know,
Stevenses.
For those of you who don't know, there was a TV show in the 60s called Bewitched where a man marries a witch. And across the street, they had a neighbor. Her name was Gladys Kravitz. And she was always looking out the window and catching Samantha do her little witchcraft sometimes. But she was always at the window watching. Basically, she was watching for something wrong and wouldn't leave until she found something wrong.
She was a Karen.
That is the theme of it. And that's what happens when you have people like this, is just let it go. Back in the day, back when we were kids, when I was a kid, and we never had a penny to spend on ourselves, I remember we said, you do you and I'll do me, and we won't bother each other. So long as you don't hurt me, I won't hurt you.
Dear God, super chat him need to stop.
Yeah, send a super chat and I'll stop this voice and I'll make the bird be quiet.
If James Stewart and Mr. Haney had a son.
Exactly. It's like it's weird and scary how you read my mind sometimes, Eric. Howdy ho.
Well, those people out there, they do most of the living and the dying here. So yeah. Oh my goodness gracious! I would double down.
God,
hold on, guys. Let me go kill the bird.
Alrighty. Been reading through the new issue of Batman 118. Josh Williamson. It's been decent so far. Different artists, you can tell. Art doesn't really suffer that much, but I don't know if I'll jump back on the Batman comic book wagon or not. It's been kind of nice, kind of skipping out on him, but
okay.
And he's back.
Yeah,
and he brought a halo with him.
I got a halo light. Oh my gosh! Yeah,
or a toilet bowl seat.
Well, a little bit of both. There we go.
You gotta light some, put some light on this darkness.
Yes. Well, I am now in the dark. The bird especially is in the dark. So,
as he should be.
Mm-hmm. Well,
just get a bat. They live in the dark. Good.
Birds go to sleep when they're in the dark. So, but wait, does that mean I can? Yeah, I can turn off that.
If you got a bat instead of that, all you have to do is with the nighttime he's up, but during the day he's quiet.
Right. England said, "Let it go," and I was afraid he'd start singing, "Let it go, let it go." No.
Super chats if you want him to sing. Also, super chats if you don't want him to sing.
You want me to stop? Yes.
Those are $10 super chats. $5 for the sing.
Mrs. Kravitz not being in the movie made the movie weaker, says Glinzer. Yeah, of course. Good thing about the JW Batman, no bloody backstory. JW. JW
with Josh Williamson.
Joshua. Oh, okay. Oh, did that come out today?
Yeah, the Josh Williamson run.
Okay.
What, today? Tuesday.
I'll check it out. I'll check it out.
Like I said, so far it's better than the Magistrate crap. And I'm only a couple pages in, but I was reading it, and the art's a little different. It's not normal artist. It's not Jorge Jimenez. So the art's, I mean, it's a different artist. I have to get used to it, but it's not like Rossmo bad level. But like I said, right. I caught up. I kept up to date on the Magistrate stuff, but I'm like, I don't know if I really want to go out and buy any more Batman books right now. Batman Beyond was always my thing, but I'm like, if I buy any Batman, I'm going through No Man's Land. That's like I said, if you're not a Batman fan, No Man's Land is what you read, and you'll be a Batman fan. It is just overall heart and soul put into it by people you'd probably just don't like today, like Greg Rucka.
Let's see. I'm trying to find. Okay, topic. And here's something I did think about. Or did you guys ever wonder what Kevin McAllister's dad did for a living?
Harassing his kids, squeezing money out of them as much as he could.
Did you see the house? What gets me when I watch the Home Alone movies, or at least when I watched it this time, I was looking at the house.
Oh, you mean the fake Christmas dad? Okay, not the real dad. Okay, different story.
Yeah. When I looked at the house, it's huge. It's a freaking mansion. If you look at the windows, there's like unless there's 2 windows per room, there's like 8 rooms on the top floor.
He's got to be a lawyer for the mob.
Something like that, man. Because
9 tickets to Paris last minute.
and one thing I wondered is, does the whole family live there? Because it really is only mom, dad, Butch, and Kevin, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody else
is staying over. Yeah. But it's still a huge house, though.
That's basically a 4-family house in a 10 or 12 room house, or
in Chicago
member family in a 10 to 12 person house. It's huge. And then like every you know what? We're gonna fly 20 people to Paris. 4 of them first class. So I was like, what? That's a lot of freaking during Christmas. These are some freaking rich people. I don't know.
And then she leaves back, and then the dad's like, "Oh, I'm gonna stay back here with the kids." And like, your brother's there. You're fine. You know, leave the kids there. Go back and get Kevin.
Right. I know. Well, they tried. Remember, she was trying to get the flight back, and
I know. So he waited the next day to surprise her, but she left.
If they're that rich, you're right. Why does the whole family have to go back home and ruin their Paris vacation?
Yeah.
Pick Kevin up, beat the shit out of him, and then carry his bruised ass back with her. You know?
To be fair, it wasn't his fault. They keep him locked in an attic like he's some kind of troll. I don't know why.
I don't know. I still like the movie. I think it's fun, but yeah, some questions sort of pop up.
The neighbor's tell the cops there's always gonna be surprised there wasn't a Karen and said they left their kid at home alone for like a whole week. They went to Paris. Yeah, we're taking your kids away.
Well, this is back in the 90s when it was like, oh, I'm sure your child alone
rich neighborhood
is
like fine. And the thing is, he didn't go over to the neighbors too. Like they're having a party, but he didn't knock on the door when he was in trouble. Like I would. It's like, hey, my parents left. Can you but the thing is, you gotta realize he thought he wished him away. He was at that age where he was that gullible, but he's able to make death traps. There was no Google back then. He couldn't look online. YouTube, how do I build a death trap to prevent robbers? Couldn't. What did he have to rely on? His wits, I guess. And then he had, the dirty. What was it? Angels with dirty faces. And then what is with everybody hitting that freaking pole every single time?
Yeah, I know.
Even the cops.
No, it's a.
I know it's a running gag.
Yeah,
a statue, but the pizza man, it was just funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kim McAllister did what Ben Affleck did in The Accountant. I don't know. It's like John Candy cared more about his kid than the old dad did. We got this truck. Yeah, you can ride with us. It's like it's a U-Haul. I'm thinking they have we're gonna rent the truck together and get on the bus, and thinking no, get a U-Haul instead.
I don't know, but it's something I thought about. Like, what the hell did this guy do for a living? It's just weird.
I don't
know. And we start talking about movies, and Eric goes silent.
I've never seen Home Alone.
You don't watch movies in color anymore, do you?
I don't know. I was talking to Eric last night, and I came across a movie that I was trying to find. I watch on AMC because Eric watches AMC too, and it's a really old movie.
TCM.
TCM, yeah, Turtle Glass movies. But the movie itself was it was the most weirdest comedy. It's about a guy and his wife. They're down on Luxy financial stuff. He wants to build an airport over Manhattan. So the planes land on these strips, and it's suspended by wires. Where are the wires hanging from? I don't know. But he has his wife get divorced from him. So go down to Florida, marry some rich guy, use him to get the money to build so they can do the project with that. And you find out at the end of the movie that both the couples, you know, the guy and his wife, both have twins, identical twins. So then everyone, those two, both their twins get married to these people, and like it's just like it's weird. You see like 3 sets, you know, it's like couples. What was it called? It's a weird movie. Oh yeah, The Palm Beach Story, 1942. I saw that on a whim like 2 years ago, the end of it, and Cable Guide sucks because it didn't tell me what it was, and I can't Shazam a freaking movie, which I could. So I typed in literally movies about twins. I went through like 3 different sites last night, and I found it on a list of just movies because there's other ones like Dark Mirror is another one about like I guess couples or your 2 twin sisters, which I think Identical was a ripoff of the Blake Lively one. Remember the murder? No, yeah. I guess you didn't see that.
What? Say again? Which one?
Identical, where Blake Lively plays two siblings. She murders her other twin.
No, I don't remember that at all.
Came out a couple years back. Oh.
Nope,
I don't know. I'm just saying I've been going through a lot of the classic movies like that, the 1940s stuff. Eric, what was that movie again that you said that he has to watch?
I don't know.
It was the one with the kid getting a train.
The one with what now?
Where the divorce, the war wife, the war widow. I think it's not White Christmas. It's the other one. It's
Holiday Affair.
Holiday Affair. That's the one he's got to watch.
Yeah, that's one I'm gonna check out. If you want to do a watch party of it, I'm
sure. It's a fun book. I love the
I
whole...
would like to bring up something. I'm sorry, I just saw steering this towards the comics again.
What comics? War comics? Christmas comics?
No, it's something I noticed. I was looking up for. So apparently, EW has a cover about Spider-Man, and it says how Stan Lee created Peter Parker. Anybody see a problem with that?
Yeah, that's. But are you surprised?
Well, you know what? I'm kind of a little salty on this because I just finished reading the Jack Kirby book. And apparently everybody's been trying to give Stan Lee sole creation credit of the Marvel Universe, apparently forever. One fan responds by stating, surely the staff at Entertainment Weekly are aware that Stan Lee is the co-creator of Spider-Man, along with artist Steve Ditko. The omission of his name on the cover is just disrespectful. Other readers, such as comicbook.com's Russ Burlington, picked up on the headline and took the magazine to task, writing all by himself and no help from anybody.
Here's the thing. If you're reading Entertainment Weekly, you don't know who Steve Ditko is, but you know who Stan Lee is. And they know that, and they put that up there. And this is the same kind of lack of thinking and foresight that leads to Disney legend Jack Kirby.
Yep.
Which is the closest he gets to getting any credit. Now, the reason why Stan and Jack stopped getting along was because of an article that was written, I think, for Esquire magazine in the mid-'60s, where Stan was very forthcoming in crediting Jack with stuff in the art, and the guy that wrote the article just ignored it all.
Yep, that was in that book.
Stan couldn't wait for Jack to see the article, and Roz calls him and reads him the riot act, and Stan genuinely had no idea why. Now, if that's a true story, then the problem was Stan always was the public face. And
well, Marvel, according to the book, in Jack's words, he called up Marvel to talk to him about it. Talk to him, look, you guys owe me money, that kind of thing. And they said, no, Stan Lee created those characters, not you. And so Marvel always saw Stan Lee as the sole creator, or at least that's the way they acted.
Well, you walked around.
That was Martin Goodman, and that meant that Martin Goodman could screw his nephew.
Right. Up until
whoa.
Not literally. Up until, of course, they were forced to in a court of law. It goes on to say Spider-Man's creation is one of the more hotly contested in superhero history due to the fact that Jack Kirby was initially part of the creation process before being replaced by Steve Ditko on the project. Ditko is responsible for the famous Spider-Man costume, but it still remains unclear just how much of an impact Kirby had on the setup for Spider-Man before Ditko came on board. Later in life, Ditko suggested that Kirby's involvement was minimal, but the important part of this story is however much Ditko or Kirby were involved in the creation of the wall crawler. At least one of them, and possibly both of them, were heavily involved, and thus it was not something that Stan Lee came up with it on his own. And yeah, it would be nice if that kind of thing stopped happening. I really would point a lot of people to the movie Bill Finger and Batman, because it talks about a guy who was basically working to get Bill Finger credit on Batman, finding out that Bill Finger died alone and penniless when he created much of the Batman lore. This kind of thing happened in the past. People would not put their names on work. They would, in Jack Kirby's case, he was always afraid of losing his job. He wanted job security so much so that he would never speak up. He would never fight for what he deserved. One thing Bob Kane did when he sold the Batman was to make sure that he got sole credit, and he made a pretty penny off of him. That's not something that that's not something that Jack Kirby ever did. I can't say for Steve Ditko. Jack Kirby needed an agent because he was not a businessman, and he let a lot of things go and made handshake deals on a lot of stuff, and that's why he did not get nearly as much as he should have. He should have died as rich as Stan Lee.
I'd say he also was his own worst enemy, and even Joe Simon will tell you that. I said he was, and you're right, he was a bad businessman. But you know, we've probably talked about this before. But do you know how Bill Finger ended up getting credit for co-creating Batman?
Through his daughter.
No, his granddaughter. He had a son.
Yeah, his granddaughter. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a son who was gay. But before he realized he was gay, he had fathered a child. That was the daughter that made it her mission to get him credit. You think about it, if he comes to the realization of who he was, prior to that, Bob Kane sails through eternity as sole creator because there'd have been nobody to fight for Bill Finger. I think that's fascinating.
They needed a family member to sign certain papers that would contest the creation rights or something.
Yeah, without her, there'd have been nobody to do the thing to even lead up to that.
Yep. So this gay guy fathers a kid before he realizes he's gay, and that saved the legacy of Bill Finger. Didn't help him. He died penniless, but at least now his name is on the Batman.
One of the saddest,
deserves to be.
One of the saddest stories in regards to Bill Finger was he co-wrote an episode of the Batman series, and all he asked was that his name be listed first so he could see his name first once, and they did it.
Nice. But there you go. Finger's son was a real life Alan Scott. Kind of, yeah. Yeah, there you go. I don't know. Anyway, I think we can about wrap it up here. It's I feel good about this live stream. I know sometimes when we do this, I know that there's people at work listening in, and I certainly appreciate you doing that. And it's like, wait, not yet. I've got 3 more hours on my shift. I've gotten that comment before, but yeah, I don't know. Hold on just a sec. You know, my goodbyes usually last about half an hour. Glinzer is saying, I heard some streaming services edited Trump out of Home Alone 2. I have not seen that. I watched it on the Disney Channel, and Trump is there. So
yeah. That's what Zach said too. He said he was in there.
I can say this: I went to Walmart, and at Walmart was a copy of the Muppet Christmas Carol And on the back of the Muppet Christmas Carol, it said restored. So I was like, awesome, because I don't know if you guys know, they cut the song between young Ebenezer and his girlfriend. They cut it out. Now, the scene it's a very emotional song. And by the time it's over, during the song, you see older Scrooge start tear up, Michael Caine, and of course Gonzo and Rizzo start. So by the end of the song, they're blubbering, they're losing it. So instead, this scene, they say a couple of lines, and then they walk past Rizzo and Scrooge, and they're all crying, and there's no reason for it, because at this point, the scene was really only 2 or 3 lines because they cut the song out. So I've been looking for a copy of the Muppet Christmas Carol with that scene in it, and I thought this was it, because it said restored, and I got ripped. It got ripped. Let's see. Word of the day. Careful. There goes a careful.
Careful.
Careful. Okay.
Yeah, they use it in the Batman book. Carful. I had to look it up. I was like, what? Did they mean car space full of people? No, it actually is a real word in the Webster Dictionary. Now, I don't know when it was edited, put in there. Like, seriously? I have no idea if it is a new invented word. It is a weird word. And I'm like, it's a word.
And his neighbor let him watch the show on his color TV because he only had a black and white TV. Damn. And it just kills me how much the companies make and the creators don't. It's something. It's something. Anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Eric, RDV, thank you for showing up as well. On Friday, we're doing the Teen Titans Christmas Carol, issue number 13 of the Teen Titans. It's a Silver Age book. Should be a lot of fun. We do need people. If you've got a working microphone, let me know in the comments here, or at England Teen on Twitter, and we'll get you on. It's a lot of fun reading these silly and stupid Silver Age books. If you haven't seen one of the videos, there's plenty there. It's called Bad Comic Theater. So check that out. And otherwise, got to say thank you very much. Don't forget to do all the clickings of the likes and commenting on the video when it's posting and all that kind of stuff, and sharing and such. And as always, I'd like to thank everybody who's already done that. To everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.
And to all, good night.
And for watching.
Merry Christmas.